Can. I can. Yeah, baby. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. My name is Doug Grubke, and I am the founder of Global Chamber. We are living in a very challenging world, but one that is so full of opportunities. It's almost hard to grasp and put our heads around it, but we'll do our best to do that. This meeting is the League of Extraordinaries. It was inspired by Joe Bockersteady, a longtime member. Our first meeting of this was at the Ritz-Carlton on the corner of 24th and Camelback in Phoenix. It's now called the Canby Hotel. But in those days, as it is today, it's a wood paneled room right off the main lobby. And it was a way of getting extraordinary people together, recognizing that probably most people don't understand what any of us do on the global stage, but we understand what you do. And that's important because if we understand what you do and who you want to meet, we can actually make some introductions that can be helpful for you. So that's what we live for. That's why we're here. And we do events and we do other things, but mainly we get people together and connect them to opportunities. And so we have a few people in the room today, and we probably only have about 3 minutes for each of you. What I might ask of you is to primarily focus in on who you want to meet, but then give us any context or if you have any other needs or if there's anything else that you'd like to share, like there's something coming up that's important, please do. If you don't mind, I would love to start with Comey Clue, who is a longtime member of Global Chamber, personal friend of Joe Biden, and if anybody that lives in Delaware, it seems, is a personal friend of Joe Biden. If you've ever been to the train station in Wilmington, you probably have seen him coming back and forth, at least back in the old days. You know, it's a sadder day these days with him being more elderly and not really getting out very much these days. But Comey, you do get out. You spend a lot of time in Africa. You're our advisory board chair for the Global Chamber Accra chapter. You also travel quite a bit. How many countries in Africa have you been to in the last few years? You're helping entrepreneurs and leaders invest and grow their businesses. Who would you like to meet and how can we help?
Thank you, Doc. Thank you for that introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Komi Klu. Like Doc has already said, I'm the chairperson of the Global Chamber in Accra. Um, my personal firm is EMI Group, Emerging Market Investment Group. Its headquarters is a Delaware Corp, headquartered in Ghana. We have presence in 35 countries across Africa, counting.
Wow.
Um, Lately, what we have had a perception problem in Africa, as everybody knows. Um, for a long time, people looking to invest in Africa, which is the fastest growing economic region in the world, cannot find bankable and investable deals, proposals. And some people have done it themselves and they were not successful. So we changed the script. What Global Chamber in Accra has done with the help of Ruby Golo and Doug is we have gone to the Ghana Investment Promotion Corporation and we have presented the problem that investors are facing when they are looking for bankable and investment ready deals. So we have an MOU with them and we have an agreement with the Global Chamber where they will go through a very stringent checklist of criteria that will allow them to select uh, um, good, promising and growing businesses, not startups, um, that they have. And then we have access to that list in any sector, mining, fintech, uh, health tech, you name it. We have access to that list. So who I would like to meet is any serious investor who is looking at investing in Africa. When we're talking about Ghana, because of the free market um, a legislation across Africa now, when you invest in Ghana, you have access to more than 1 billion people across Africa because of the AFTAC, we call it. So the free trade agreements across Africa. So in summary, we have a lot of opportunities out there in Africa, starting from Ghana. We have in other countries, but starting from Ghana specifically, looking for investors. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Comey. Does anybody have any questions for Comey or any thoughts or ideas? I know, Jeffrey Boyce, you're a new member of Global Chamber. You work with founders, certainly in the UK. Not sure if Africa is a playground for you yet. A lot of people that Comey works with are founders. Any thoughts or ideas that you have for him?
Yeah, I think what we're doing is potentially complementary. I think at this point we don't have a presence in Africa or sort of a timeline to expand there. But just sort of real quickly, what we're doing with For Founder is we are a private membership community of founders who want to support one another as they are considering interacting with institutional capital. And so the whole idea here is you have lots of entrepreneurs and business people who know their space very well, but they have never really had a reason to develop expertise, in dealing with venture capital or private equity or strategic investors or buyers. And so what we're doing is we're collecting really the lessons learned from founders who have been through those major capital events. We're collecting that within sort of our wisdom library, and then we're making it available to our other members so that they can sort of benefit from the lessons learned of people who have been through it before. So it does seem sort of complementary to what you're doing, but I would say at this point we probably don't have too much we can collaborate on in Africa at this point.
Okay, very good. I'll come back to you, Comey, in a moment, but could you let us know, Jeffrey, where you're located and then where are you targeting folks to join?
So yeah, I'm based outside of Philadelphia, in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. We're operating all across the US, and then we have opportunities in Europe, and Canada as well.
Sounds good. Cesar is on the call, and so I'm glad you're able to. Yeah, you are one of the people that I thought that would be good, and you probably already are integrated into the ecosystem in Philadelphia. But I'm trying to think of the World Upstart. I think I had mentioned them to you. Are you familiar with that group?
No, I don't know them.
Okay, there's a couple ladies there, and they run an incubator for healthcare startups. I think that'll be a fun one for you. They're very well connected within the Philadelphia community, and as you know, Cherry Hill is just kind of a suburb there, right? Kind of a big suburb area. So, but definitely for Philly, that'll be a good one. And if anybody else has any ideas or thoughts for Jeffrey, generally you're looking for the founders that you're looking for. Are there ways to categorize them of why they would be interested, or what would be an indicator that this is a founder that would be wanting to be part of this?
So yeah, thanks for asking. So certainly founders, but really entrepreneurs, business owners, could be folks that are in a family business, where they are running a profitable business. They may be getting close to retirement and they're thinking about, hey, what do my exit options really look like? That's probably our ideal customer profile. It's a CEO, founder, owner of a small to mid-sized business, $5 million to $50 million in revenue, they're considering exit or they're considering a transaction with a significant buyer or investor, and they've just never had a reason to go through that before. And so instead of getting influenced by the investment bankers and the investors themselves who have, sort of an interest in that, our idea is let's get them influenced by other founders as peers who can share their wisdom and hopefully result in a better, more fair transaction for the entrepreneur.
Jim Cook, you probably know a few people like that. And when Jeffrey was joining, I think I shared, multiple frustrations that I've had with founders that, waited too long for going through that process and benefiting from the knowledge base that Jeffrey has corralled. So Jim, probably would be great for you guys to connect as well. Does that resonate, the story that Jeffrey mentioned?
Yes, because investors and founders are always asking the same questions. They just have to get together. The question for the investor will be, do I want to get involved? Well, part of our program is before we get anything started for projects, exit's got to be discussed at the beginning, not the end. Though the exit may change if you don't have a foundation on that exit at the beginning, it's going to be worse at the end. I'm done.
Yeah. Let's go back to Comey. Comey, was there any, first of all, for the group, is there any additional questions or comments for Comey? And otherwise, Comey, what's next for you? I think you said you're going to be in Delaware for a bit before you head back to Africa.
Yeah, I was planning to remain in Delaware throughout the summer and head back to Africa early fall, but it seems like this is going to change because I was on the call early this morning, which might speed up my return to Africa, probably sometimes in July. Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And so when you said you operate in 35 countries, have you been to all 35 of those countries?
No, 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 no. I've been to, I think, maybe 20 of them, not
Oh,
all 35 yet.
okay.
But my goal for life is to be able to visit all 54 before I die.
Okay. Fantastic. That's a great goal. Thank you. Everybody knows Comey, but for all of you, please put your information in the chat. Feel free to have connections there. I will say that today there are a couple more things going on today, and one of the more fun ones is in about 3 hours for the Global Chamber London. It's London Tech Week this week, and so there's a variety of activities by members there. So there'll be a little bit of an update of that in our London virtual call, and then later this week we have an in-person summer social in London. So I'm not sure if there's anybody here. Maybe the closest would be Anne Marie. Anne Marie, how are you? Thank you for joining today. Probably that's not close enough for you to jump over to London later this week. But what's going on in your world? Who would you like to meet, and how can we help? Are you available
Uh,
to speak?
yes, I am able to speak. Yeah, sorry, I'm in a hotel actually because I'm doing some training later on, so I came in early. But yeah, so who I work with predominantly, well, I've kind of two aspects to the business. The recruitment business is very much centered around healthcare, but I am starting to also look at maybe the general market. So construction in particular, I've been approached by a few people in Ireland to say, I see you do nurses and healthcare assistants. Do you also do construction and engineering and things like that? So I'm looking at that kind of as an expansion. But the main part of the business at the moment is the coaching and mentoring. So I work with healthcare and medical business owners who are running their own practice as a business. And they're, minimum of 2 years in business, minimum of 2 years and minimum kind of turnover of €100,000. So it's to help them get their practice to the next level. So it tends to be dietitians, physiotherapists, psychological, psychotherapists. So people like that. The doctors and dentists tend to do very well. They're running very efficient practices. So more of their coaching comes around their work-life balance, actually. That's more what they take me in for rather than the money and the revenue. But I'm always looking to expand in the UK and always looking to expand in the US. So that's the dream goal is to someday live in New York.
Ah, okay. Why is that? What about New
I, j-
York attractive?
I,
I'm
ju-
from New York, so I'm
oh,
what in
really?
the
Yeah,
world?
absolutely. I just love it. I went there 20 years ago and I went on holidays there every year for about 10 years in a row. I just love everything about it. The
Okay.
energy, the buzz, the culture, the art, the shopping, whole lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of positives for
There's a
sure.
lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So in terms of connections, is it mainly directly those people you described, or do you have partners or ideal partners that would be a good way in as well?
With the coaching and mentoring, it tends to be the individuals. On the recruitment side, yes, partners can be a very good way for me to collaborate, and it can be a win-win there for both
Okay.
myself and the partner. Yeah.
Okay. So say sorry, I had reached out to Reese Marks this morning on something else, but there might be some angle there with them or Ames or something on that order. Thank you, Anne Marie. Does anybody
Thank
have
you very
any?
much.
Oh, our pleasure. By the way, where are you located and what's your area of comfort in terms of where you like to work now before you head
So
to New York?
yeah, I'm going to New York. So at the moment, I'm located in Dublin in Ireland. So I do quite a lot of face-to-face work in Ireland and the UK, but I do online work with a lot of clients as well. So I've had a couple of clients in the US, I've had one in Canada. I have a number of clients in the UK that I do online as well as, I do a hybrid model. So yes, willing to travel anywhere.
Got it. And when you go to England, is it primarily London, or do you do anything in Manchester or any place?
Manchester and London would be the two, actually. They're the
Okay.
two places that I do the most. Yeah.
So Manchester, I think, will be the next chapter for Global Chamber
Ah,
in
brilliant.
England. And I've just finished the reading the biography of John Lennon, and then and I'm just wrapping up the biography of Paul McCartney, which was much longer. It was 32
Yes.
hours on audiobook, so I've done 31 hours of Paul McCartney, and but I spent a lot of time mentally in Liverpool.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Liverpool and Manchester, they're beside each other.
Yeah, so
So
so so the so for sure, and plus I think we talked about that Netflix thing. I think that show that was centered around Liverpool and Manchester. It was a crime show on Netflix. I'm blanking on it. I think it was called
Arch-
almost thought of it, but it was fun to watch and see that community there. Some pretty rough neighborhoods they
there
share,
are.
which
Yeah,
which
there are.
maybe is a New York thing or can be a New York thing as well. So thank you for sharing, and I'm sure we've got some ideas for you. Let's
Thank you
let's
so much.
Our pleasure. Jeffrey, did you have anything else that you wanted to add? You mentioned about Cherry Hill. You mentioned about founders. What a great idea, to be able to leverage the experiences sometimes once in a lifetime for a founder to get rewarded for all their hard work and getting the business sold for all these people who haven't been through that yet. The natural connection there is just so great. Thank you for coming up with the idea.
Yeah, I appreciate it. A lot of it was built off of my own personal experience and transactions I did 10 years ago with private equity without really realizing what I was doing. And some of those decisions came back to bite me, and I just kept finding more and more founders and business owners who, wish that they knew then what they now know. And so we said, hey, let's come up with a mechanism for capturing those lessons and making them available to others. We see it as a complement to other peer groups, Vistage or YPO or EO. A lot of our members are already engaged in something like this, but they find that there's a bit of a gap when it comes to this sort of complex transaction, and they would benefit from some kind of specialized support from people who have been there and done it. And so, yeah, I'm looking to network and interact with founders and business owners of small to mid-sized businesses, that may be considering institutional capital for growth or for exit. And I would just double click on, Jim's point earlier there of beginning with the end in mind. I think, that seems to be common piece of wisdom that's coming from all of our founders is, design toward a specific, and you can reevaluate it along the way, but have some kind of plan that you are working toward. And it takes longer to prepare for that exit or that plan than a lot of people think. And so those are some of the big kind of macro lessons that we're hearing from folks over and over again.
Sounds great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Cesar, I think another connection for Jeffrey would be Dustin Luther, given the marketing piece that he's doing in that world. And there's an organization called Expert Dojo that is based in Santa Monica, but they're doing a lot of work in New York, and they're expanding their reach. And so I think there might be an interesting angle there around that Dustin may be able to support Jeffrey in his work. So let me know if that's something you can do, or I'm happy to do it as well. Let's keep going around the room. And Laura Fredrickson is an HR expert who knows data, which is a very rare very rare person, very valuable person. Laura, it was great to connect up with you yesterday as I was going to get some coffee. Congratulations on your progress and the project that you're working on, and you're looking for more. So let us know who you'd like to meet and how we can help, based in Phoenix, Arizona. Are you available to speak?
Yes, but for some reason that mute button just did not want to turn off. So thank you very much. So as Doug mentioned, Laura Fredrickson, and I founded Aravia HR. I've been an HR executive for over 25 years. I hate to say it like that because I feel old, but and I've basically found that there is a real need between aligning business and people and HR technology strategies. And what I'm finding is that more and more often, as it pertains to data, that a lot of companies, whether they have an HR department or not, they're making significant investments in their technology, their tech stack, to try to reach their people, which is obviously pretty necessary in this day and age. But the challenge is not having the experience or even the bandwidth really to be able to align those things and to be able to plan it out so that the implementations are successful. So primarily, that's one of the things that I've been focusing on, in addition to companies that are experiencing growth. And they need to outline what their people strategy is going to look like from a headcount standpoint, all of those other things. I've also been assisting companies with compliance and governance and things like that. So my target market is small to medium-sized businesses who either have an HR department that's just stretched real thin, or they don't have an HR presence at all. And, they're interested in not only expanding their tech stack, but also, looking at, I've been getting involved in AI like everyone else, I think, for the last couple of years. And so I've gone and received certifications, and I've continued my learning, and I'm surrounding myself with wonderful people like yourselves and academians and technologists and things like that to just keep learning more and more. So, but in any event, a lot of companies are looking to implement AI in some capacity so that they, keep up. But I think it's the challenge is having the knowledge and again the bandwidth to look at governance and to look at the potential legal or even ethical implications of doing so. So it's better to not have it at all than to have it just to have it. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for small to medium-sized businesses that are looking to improve or either scale their business and need help with the people strategy, or need some help with the alignment of the people, business, and tech strategies.
The ability to understand that and strategize about that and then implement into specific programs is a unique quality. You'd ideally like to have those companies in Phoenix, because then you wouldn't have to travel so much, but you're open to others that might be interesting in different places.
Yeah, I actually recently was speaking with a company out of New York. That seems to be the theme of the day. But but I am based out of Phoenix, but certainly am willing to, willing and available to go to other locations as well.
Very cool. Anybody have any thoughts or ideas or clarifying questions? Oh, and thank you for the message about Dustin, or it was not Dustin, it was uh,
Shane,
Shane Jacobs from Venture, that you had met him maybe through Global Chamber
I
before.
did.
And so do you already have his email and things like that? Or
I do believe I have his contact information. Yes.
okay, and because he has a new email address, that's
Oh,
why I
well then,
I think I was going to either connect you, and if I haven't done that already, I'm happy to do that. So Venture
thank you. Thank you very much.
and Shane. I'll do that right after we're done, or even before we're done. Thank you. Let's now go to Daniel Martinez Rodriguez from Costa Rica. And you've got an interesting business. Welcome to Global Chamber. Looking forward to learning more. I don't know too much about it yet, but I know you've been working with Cesar and you know a number of other folks at Global Chamber. Who would you like to meet and how can we help? Welcome.
Well, greetings though. Has been crazy way for me. Yes, I has been in working else with other chambers and own organizations like Micro Mentor, Mentor Day from Europe. I have meetings with else people like Komi. I have working with people on Africa else and people on Oceania and South America. Yeah, I am a digital consulting business. I do audits of the whole business, their websites, their digital marketing strategies, their tech automatizations, AI. Therefore, has been crazy until now, and in who I am interested in small and medium businesses from any part in the world, really, because as I work in remotely, I don't have any trouble with any country, and in Spanish and English, obviously. And though,
I think Doug disappeared. Can you hear me?
yes, he went freeze and then has been out.
Yeah, so that was Destiny that wanted to for me to
Yeah.
jump in. And Daniel, can you explain a little bit more on the digital work you do with websites so everyone understand a little bit more?
Well, for example, when comes a business, I just took his domain, and with just that, I can know, well, his full SEO, the global tech of the site, and the social networks. And according the business goals, I can do strategies about, okay, what is better for you, what fits better. Go for organic reach or for digital marketing in paid media. Could be better for you, Google or LinkedIn or Meta. And which type of campaigns, budgets, automatizations, events planning, digital marketing involved in email marketing, else the following up, the business plan, everything around about it.
And so this applies to anyone that has a website,
Yeah,
technically.
well,
Okay.
sometimes in the case the website give a insane way of opportunities to reach people, but else work with non users that hasn't a website with just social networks, and that works with example like here Zoom, Calendly, the Google Meets, and automatizations.
Perfect. Daniel, can you make sure? Oh, I saw your contact information there. Is there any question for Daniel?
Right now, no, I
Or anyone that
wouldn't.
that's working on their website or looking. So one question, something that comes to mind then is um, with AI, a lot of people they're not going to Google to search. They're now going to AI, ChatGPT or Claude or whatever they're using. Is there anything that you can work on the websites to make sure that companies appear in those searches? Is there
Yes,
anything in particular?
being webmaster to appear on ChatGPT and Gemini. And right now, it's not about getting a site of 100,000 pages and 1,000 words. Right now, with the AI and Google, more about it is about answer the question of the user. That is all the focus.
Perfect. Thank you, Daniel. And thank you for all the. So Daniel is one of the um, test users of Lobby, and I saw the email. I've seen your emails, Daniel. I'm not ignoring you. I need to process those and come back to
Relax,
you. But great info. So thank you
relax
for
with that
joining us today.
email. I don't hope your answer in at least 2 weeks.
No, it's gonna be less than that. It's gonna be for sure. Okay. Thank you, Daniel. I see Doug is back. Doug, back to you. I jump in to support here where you were away.
Thank you. Yeah, no, this is the second day in a row that I've had some sort of an internet problem. It might be phone related. I'm not sure. It happened during the launch yesterday of the Alberta chapter, and I was able to figure that out. I don't know what went on, so sorry about that. Let's keep going around. I saw Mohammed leave and come back. Mohammed, I was thinking about for that company that Cesar that I copied you on today. I've been speaking with them about their food products for 6 months or so, and now they seem to be ready to move forward. And so, Mohammed, I don't know whether you work with, I think you work with food products, but they specified a gateway through Turkey. And so I thought of you as a possibility to be able to help them. Are you available to speak and share more about who you'd like to meet?
Hi, Doug. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's it's a crazy world. Welcome.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I lost the net for a while and came back. Yes, we are in food business. We have an ice cream factory in Iraq.
Oh.
But because of that, I want to stay as far as possible from the food industry. So it's it's difficult. And but I missed the subject. If anything, I will be welcome to look for a message from Cesar.
Okay. So
As you all know, that I'm located right now in Ankara, Turkey, and traveling maybe this month to Iraq again. So I am going forward and backward, and everything is looks okay. A little bit slow, but baby steps forward.
So this is a company that has food products, the basic commodities like nuts and fruits and things like that, and they're looking for distribution in other markets. And so you may or may not be the right person, but I thought of you first.
Yeah, thank you very much, and we will see if there is a possibility. Commodity in Iraq is dominated by very big investors and merchants. So when it comes to, for example, tea and others, so they have a huge organization. They import it in bulk, very large. So for a starter, for a beginning, it will not be easy. So we will see.
Well,
I
it's
will
an it's an
even so I will give a
established
feedback. Yeah.
the
I will
good
give a brief market research for them, how much it is selling and how is their situation. So
well the I'll give you good news and bad news. The good news is it's an established organization with 5 different brands. The bad
okay.
news is they're based in Iran.
Actually, it's not that bad actually, because
Okay.
Iran is and Iraq we have a trade volume as large.
Okay.
So we will see. But
Okay.
if they are already in Iran, they I think they are dominated the Iraqi market. I don't think that they missed it because this is a huge market for them.
Okay. So yeah, they want to come into the
But
US and go into the UAE and places like that. So take a look.
we will see. Yeah. Thank you.
What who
Have a
else would you
great
like
day.
to meet? And any oh, okay, bye.
Oh, no, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh,
Okay.
anybody else that you would like to meet?
Not really. We have enough right now, so I just enjoy meeting you all at the meetings. I try to participate as much as I can. Lately, I have been absent for few meetings, but hopefully I will be more available to these meetings.
You're amazing. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much. Have a great day. Thank you all. Bye bye.
You too. Thank you. Another amazing person is Peter Gower. Peter has got a book coming out on trade and Thunderbird grad. Peter, how can we help you right now? Who would you like to meet?
Hi, Doug. Well, it's a pleasure just to be on the webinar, and it's a pleasure to meet everybody. Um, I'm working on 3 different projects right now. So, as you mentioned, I'm writing a book on global trade, which will be published later this year. And that's based on my 40 years of selling or exporting major food and beverage products, wines and spirits around the world. And I learned a lot of lessons and have a lot of great stories to tell. And of course, I definitely get into the current situation with the tariffs and the implications. It's really changing the way we're doing business a little bit. So that's the one project. The second, I have an export management company called Rising Tide Global. We're a very small company, but we export U.S. wines and spirits overseas. I used to own another EMC that's based in Napa, California, when I worked with big wineries out there in Sonoma. And I got to tell you, that was a little bit easier because those brands are pretty much known around the world. And our company, Rising Tide Global, we represent mainly products from the Midwest and East Coast. So let's face it, wines from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, they're not all that well known over there. The only advantage we have is that it's closer to Europe, and the prices are much better. So right now we are looking mainly at Europe and India and the Caribbean. Canada, it was the biggest market to us. Unfortunately, the tariffs have really played a major impact where the largest buyer in Canada, the LCBO, removed every U.S. brand off the shelf. So it's sad. I think they're still negotiating. We'll see where it goes, but that is a huge market for U.S. wines and spirits. And then the third thing I'm working on is with my consulting company. I've done a lot of work in market entry strategies and business development. Um, and I've dealt with hundreds and hundreds of distributors around the world. And at the moment, I'm dealing with a Philippine company. What's big in the Philippines is virtual assistants and with AI. And these companies, a lot of American companies want to outsource that back office things like payroll, accounting, finance, data entry. And so this company is looking to get into the US, and I'm helping them get into smaller companies, about 1 to 200 employees, 1 to like $50 million. So those are the 3 things that I'm currently working on. So if anybody can help me, that's great. I'm would love to help any of you if I can with any thing that you are looking for. So thank you, Doug.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I think Cesar, a good person might be Casey Branch, because of his wine industry background. I don't think I've made that one yet. And earlier with Laura, I was thinking that I had reintroduced you to Shane, but I had introduced him to someone else, it looks like. So I'll make sure that happens. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts? For Peter?
Peter, we just wrote a job description for a virtual assistant in the Philippines yesterday. And are just starting a search, so I don't know if the company you're working with is somebody you could connect me to or not. But
I definitely could. They have a proprietary platform, which is very, very interesting, and I'm continuing my meetings with them. But I'd be happy to put you in contact with them. And by the way, Cherry Hill is very close to where I'm at. I'm in Washington Crossing, which is like 35 minutes north of Philadelphia.
yeah, sure.
Cool. And probably for both of you, you should know GabTech as well. So we're happy to get you connected there. We utilize their services, and Chris Yap, who is the CEO, is one of the fastest growing companies in the United States. And to see him and watch him over the last 10, 12 years go through some lean times and then to be as successful as he's been able to be, it's just really, really exciting. So it's an interesting industry right now, especially with AI coming in, a very dynamic industry. So let's see how it goes. But definitely GapTech should be one on both of your lists. Jim, I think you're the only one that we haven't really gone into any more detail, but usually don't have too much detail. Jim is the doctor of startups, and he's typically looking for the unicorn type organizations, and he helps them kind of sort through some of the key things that they need in those stages. Is there anything else that you wanted to share or any correction you want to make in my description of you?
It's interesting on finishing up some of the records. How many unicorns are there in the globe? 554. That's how competitive it is to be a unicorn.
Wow.
554 in the last 5 years. That's a really interesting market. If you are a disruptor, a good example would be something along the lines of Uber, which was in stealth for almost 2 years before it became a disruptor in the transportation business. These options are out there. If you have something that differentiate yourself from competitors or something brand new, keep going at it, because eventually the thing's going to settle and we'll take it from there. I'm done.
Before we end the call, does anybody have anything else either that they forgot or that they want to reemphasize, or anything else? Everything open, no politics, but definitely anything else that you'd like to share, please go ahead. And while we're waiting for that, if you do have something, let us know. Cesar Trabanco, everyone here should know. Everyone should know Globi. And so hopefully you filled in your form for Globi. And then everyone should know Cesar. You know, this meeting itself is really a supplement to Globi. It's just sometimes really nice to be able to talk to members, you know, one-on-one. We're already getting input from Globi, so we get to hear what they're interested in, but it's not always exactly translatable. And a quick example of that is overnight, one of our members said, why am I getting invitations to meetings like the London? She was upset that, not upset, but she was like, why am I getting invited to the London meeting that's happening today? So I went into Globi, and she in there listed out the London event as one that she wanted to keep a hold of. So I took a snapshot of it and sent her to her. And it could be a miscommunication on our part that when in Globi you're saying you're interested in that event, Globi finds a way to get you connected directly, like put the calendar item on your calendar. And so we may have to adjust how we communicate that to folks, certainly to the person who wanted to know why that was happening. Our goal is to use AI to make our lives easier, not more difficult. But unfortunately, in the transition, sometimes it makes it more difficult. So please bear with us as we find ways to make Globi work and make it work for you. Cesar, is there anything else that you wanted to share?
Hey Doug, hi everyone. All good right now. I was taking notes, making some intro, so you got me a little bit off. But you mentioned KC branch. for Peter, and I made that connection. Peter, I would like to know, did you connect with KC? Was there any response, or can I follow up on
With who? Cesar?
it? KC branch.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yes.
have someone else for you now, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna send you that. Cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
And
Thank you.
I'm talking to Casey tomorrow. So if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. Now that guy is a superstar in cannabis and in wine and the Olympics. What an interesting combination of interests from a legal perspective, and the people that he knows is just off the wall. We had Jay Lohr Vineyard as speaker, the owners of that, because of KC, and he's actually a pretty cool guy to know because he shows up. He lives in somewhere between LA and San Francisco, kind of along the coast there. I forget the name of the town, but he shows up both in the Northern California, Southern California, and Austin, Texas. Usually those three locations, other than other travel. And he often has, if he's driving, he's got a cooler in his for wine in his trunk. And so he showed up at the Port of LA event that we did a few years ago with 40 bottles of wine in his trunk, which they would not allow us to bring into the building, the Port of LA's administration building, but they allowed us to bring it out on a boat. and so nobody fell overboard, and it was a fun time by all. But he is a great party guy and a brilliant legal mind in those three main areas: sports, cannabis, and wine. So, Cesar, thank you, and thank you all. I think that then pretty much does it. If you'd like, in 2 hours, we've got the London chapter meetup, and all week we have a variety of different things going on. I know there's global sales, there's a global leadership, there's global marketing later this week. I think we have at least 10 events this week, so jump in if any of those are interesting. And the global tribe is interesting. There's always somebody to meet that's really hopefully we're able to facilitate some great more connections for you in the events or through Globi, or just reach out. Thanks everybody for your time. Take care.
Doug, can I mention one more thing?
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah, hi Doug. Just one sidebar. Yes, I know Jay Lohr very well. I used to represent them internationally, so it's a good winery. But this message is for Anne Marie. Anne Marie, I mentioned the book that I'm writing, Broken Bridges, and my publisher. I've met some other people in my cohort. There's a woman, I think she's in Vermont, New Hampshire, and she's a doctor. And she's writing a book on women leadership positions in healthcare. And I think that would be a good person for you to speak with. She knows a
Oh,
lot of people. Yeah.
yeah, wow, that'll be brilliant, Peter. I'd be so
Yeah.
interested in talking to her.
Yeah. I will make the connection.
Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks.
You're
I
welcome.
wanted to dovetail on that if I could, because I was actually thinking while Anne Marie was talking, and I also have somebody that may be really good for you to meet. They're actually there in Ireland. Um,
Ah,
yeah, and they work for a company called Work Compass and also working along those same lines. It's a little bit different, but with the same group of people with HR and with talent and some of those things. So it could be a good connection for you. So I
oh,
actually just
cool.
sent you a message on LinkedIn just now.
Lovely. I can't get my LinkedIn up, so that's why I'm not putting mine in, but I'll put my email address in the chat for anyone who wants to link in, and then I can link in with you.
Okay,
Thank you so much, guys.
of course.
Anybody else have anything? Thank you very much. Appreciate it, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone. See you soon.
Yeah.